Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is part 21E, I believe, of our Let's Get Cooking series, where we're dealing with storage items. The last video was quite a long video. I'm trying to make this one a little bit shorter if possible. If not, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so quick note before I forget again. One thing we did not do in the last video is in our BPP storage, we did not go to our class settings and we should have added our BPI storage. Okay. And checking inside your BPI storage that you've got yourself a category of storage, just so we can find them easier. Then we can now go ahead and we can deal with these functions now. Find the correct one. So we have, if we look in our interfaces now, we have three. We have add to storage, single item. We've got get storage data assets and remove from storage. Okay. And double checking if there's anything we have to do when we can play. Yes, we do. Okay, so we've got a few things to do here. So let's deal with our begin play, but I believe actually we've got in our kitchen manager interface. So let's go to that and make sure we've got everything on there. Do apologize if we're jumping around. This is quite complex and sometimes I forget where everything is. So find our kitchen manager, and in our kitchen manager, where did I put that function? We've got stock here. Request stock items, get stock items, storage item. And there is another one which I can't seem to find. 1 second. Where the devil did that go? Okay, I put it in the wrong category in here. Okay, so let's put that to stock. So in stock here, we have to add another one, which is what I forgot. We don't have it here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it should be in here. Just double checking I haven't put it somewhere else. And the function, and it's called add storage actor to map. It says I've already got it. So where is it? So let's say add. Like I say, I may well have had it from previous there. So I'm just going to move that to stock, because I have redone this before. So let's get that new function. We don't need that. In our stock, we have add storage actor to map. That has two inputs. Actor rep, which is a BP storage. Okay. And the data asset, which is a DA underscore storage. Object reference. Okay. Make sure you've got those two added to there in your kitchen manager, because we're going to need that right now. So we're going to go back to our storage. Go right to our begin play. And we're going to add a few things to our begin play. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get our set max items. We're going to add that. Actually, before we do that, we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to do get our data asset. Now, we don't see it in the list here. It's already inherited ones. So we're going to get our data asset. We're going to cast to DA storage, like so. And we are going to promote that to a variable because we don't have it yet. Out of the way. SDA storage is absolutely fine. We're going to get our storage data. Like so, and we're going to set this storage data inside the actor itself. So this is how we populate that variable, if you've been wondering from the last series. And we also get the can contain, and we populate, or we set this variable. This is information that we've added on the particular data asset for the self. Okay, so we've got those. So we've gone keep on. Let's move this all up a little bit. Okay. That's better. Now we've set them, now we can set the max items because we now have the data that we can work on. We're going to get our kitchen manager. We are then going to say add storage actor to map reference message, sorry. The actor reference is going to be self, adding this one. And the data asset is going to be the DA storage that we've just created. Now, inside our kitchen manager, we do need to add an event dispatcher. Let's go to our blueprints, our core blueprints, our kitchen manager, and we're going to add, now I've already done it, like I say, because I did it before, but I'll show you exactly what it is. It is just an event dispatcher we've called on stock added to storage. Okay. There are no inputs. Okay. And I'll show you what we'll get around to doing the stuff in here first. So make sure you've got that. If you don't know how to do it, you just go to event dispatcher and click add here, and it adds a new one, and then you just name it to what you want. Okay. So now we've got that, we can go back to our storage. BPP storage. Now, this is where this little bit falls down a little bit. We're going to have to actually cast to the kitchen manager. We can't do this through interfaces. I did try, it didn't like it. If somebody knows a better way of doing it in casting to it, let me know. But we cast very little in these mechanics, so the odd cast doesn't worry me. It's done at begin play, so it's done one time and one time only. We're not saving any of the information, getting a one-off reference to it. So from here then we're going to say bind event to on stock added to storage, like so. Okay, going to want an event. Okay, so we're going to create an event, select the function, create a matching event, and I'm going to call it update stock. And I'll explain the reason why I'm doing this in a minute, rather than just saying get all actors of name, because what happens sometimes is the kitchen manager, because it doesn't have things like static meshes in it and it doesn't have a lot of heavy data in it, and also due to the naming of it being kitchen manager is K4S, which is shelf, will get executed first. So if we put on its begin play to say get all actors of class, what was happening was, and we tried to add them to its variable inside it, what was happening was they weren't ready. So we were getting no data and things just not working. It was a little bit of a headache. So the way to do it is you tell this actor, when I'm ready, I'm going to shout, I'm going to shout out for I'm going to bind the event to the on stock added, so that when that gets called, I can do what you asked me to do. And also this one here, when I've finished, when I've got this file in my begin play, I can then say, hey, you're there, you can add it first, and this seems to get added first. If you're having a problem with it, taking a little delay, if your kitchen manager is named differently or whatever and it happens first, then you may have to put in a delay. And that's all we need to do on the begin play. So we can compile that. So let's look at this update stock we just made. So let's find that in my one here. Update stock is very simple. We just run this stock item. Okay, we run it not from a save, and we start out with this item 0. Okay. Now let's go through some of these other events. Yes, we can. Add item single. Okay. This is called, or this is used when we return an item back to the shelf. So say you took a loaf of bread and oh no, I meant to have taken coffee or jam or picked the wrong colour bread or whatever. This, and you want to put it back on the shelf, this is the function that handles that, or the event that handles that. So we're going to straight away call our set position full. And that has the relevant inputs. And we just check full. Okay. We then get our storage items right here. And unfortunately, because it's a function, things get a bit stringy, but not a lot I can do about it. Just try and make it as neat as possible. We do a find on that, and we want to find this. Make that so. Move it up a little bit, like so. Going to need another reload in a minute. Going to drop this down, give myself some space. Phone this. We're going to get the output. We're going to add one because we're adding a single item. The stock item here handles adding multiple items. We're going to get our storage items. And we're going to add some map function. It's going to be the quantity. That's going to be the key. Ooh. It's going to go to here. Just say, apologise for it being a bit stringy, but sometimes there's not a lot we can do about it. Once we've done that, we just want to call in our kitchen manager refresh stock items message. Okay, so it just refreshes this stock values, what it's got, and what we can set. Okay, so that's that one done. The next one from the interface is get storage data asset. Very simple. Big deal on that one. Except for, let me just go back there. This is incorrect. It should be a storage access. So this should be of DA storage. Okay. Compile that. And we go back to our storage. We just add that as DA storage here. That's that one done. And the last one is remove from storage, which is pretty well the same as we've done up here. In fact, identical bar one thing. So you can go ahead and copy that lot. We'll just change one thing. As I've always said, if you're copying it and you're watching me copying it, be aware of what I'm doing. Look carefully and double check. Don't just copy and forget. You should find yourself with it not working. So instead of position being is full, now it's empty because we're removing the item. So instead of this being a plus, this will become a minus. Subtract. Don't forget to say 1 because we're removing an item. Delete the plus, and the rest will remain the same. So basically, when we take something off the shelf, this gets called position is now no longer full, so we can add something back to it, and it refreshes our stock and it takes it away from the stock that's on the storage. I believe that is now everything that we have inside our storage, but let's find out. So the next one, the next biggest one we need to do is our kitchen manager. And I've got so many open things in my other project that I'm totally confused. Okay. Storage. API items, API storage, done, and that, and that, and that, and that. Sorry, I'm just closing stuff in my original project just so that I can make sense. Okay, so we're going to go to our kitchen manager. So I'm just going to open it up in my other project, which we already opened up here. We're going to deal with a lot of stuff in here, or some stuff in here. Okay. Now I did put it all in a category in the function is called stock. So that's helped a little bit. So we're going to make quite a few functions. So let's start. Order functions are all done. Okay, so first one is going to be called set current stock levels. We'll make them all and then we'll fill them out. Let's put it in a category of stock. Oh, not spelt like that. Caps lock again. I'm not a touch typist, so I sometimes often get it wrong. And the next one we're going to be is set max stock levels. Again, we're going to put it in our stock category. Next one is going to be I don't know whether we need that anymore. I'm going to leave that one because I'm not sure whether we use that one anymore. I think I've stopped using it. Let me just check. Like I say, I did all this and I found a couple of major bugs and I had to redo it, so I therefore redid the videos. No, okay, so that one we don't use, so I can actually delete this one. Okay, so we've got this one, then we're going to rename this to remove. Okay, I'm going to do FN remove from stock because we already have something named that way. That's going to make things a bit difficult to be named. And another one called update stock on storage. The basic way we're going to be doing this, obviously the kitchen manager is going to be what controls everything rather than each individual one, because that holds the reference to what stock shelf units you have in your world. Okay, which is what I explained before, that once it's ready it tells us what ones you have. And there's one more called calculate amount of amount to add to storage. So this takes into account what's already on there. So in the scenario where you've got two shelves the same or two items the same that hold the same items, when one's full it'll move on to the next one, basically. So let's go through the list and get these populated. So set current stock levels is relatively simple. We do need to add a variable. We do need to add a variable. And we're going to call this in stock items. This is everything that we've got in stock. That's going to be of our e-bulk goods again. It's going to be a map again of integers. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to clear it. Okay, we're going to read it every time. It's like refreshing it every time. we're going to update it so that we're always reading the correct values. Now we have another variable to add. I'm just checking that I haven't already got them on here because I've moved some of it before. We're going to call this storage actor data. Okay, and that is a map of BPP underscore storage, object reference, and DA storage. Which is what we set in the last one, the call in the last one. So we're going to grab that, we're going to for each through that. Don't need a break or anything like that. From the map key, we're going to get storage items. We've been dealing with earlier on. We're going to for each through that as well, like so. We're going to get our in-stock items. We're going to find this map key here. We're going to get this quantity. We're going to add to it this quantity. So let me do some rewrite notes to try and make it a little bit neater, like so. And then we're going to get stock items and add. Function there, and the key goes through there. Okay, so basically what it does is it looks through this list. You could have 1 or you could have 20 different storage items in there. For the first one, it gets its items, it goes through the items, and it adds them to the stock. And it goes to the next one, so on and so forth. So that's that function completed. Set max stock levels, I think it's fairly simple. So we basically need to, we're going to be adding a few of these. So we're going to duplicate that. We're going to call this max stock. And again, we're going to clear it. Get a nice clean slate. We're going to get our storage data again, fairly similar to the last one. For each through that. Just going to do a validity check on this one. Then we're going to promote this to a local variable. Just going to call it lactor. From our lactor, we're going to run give max items. Or did we actually fill that one out? Yes, we did. Okay. Double checking. So give our max items. We're going to for each through that. Like so. And we can promote this to, well, do we need to? Not really. we're going to get a max stock, find, going to find this key, we're going to add these together like so, and then we're going to add to here. That quantity and that key. If it bothers you with too many lines, you can promote this to a local variable if you prefer. Okay, but it should be fine like that. So that's that function done. Double checking, yes. Okay. Next one is mind-blowingly complicated, so be ready for this one. Remove from stock. It has two inputs. It is name of the bulk items. The second input is quantity. Okay, so this is mind-blowingly complicated, so be ready for this one. We're going to go down here. We've got another function here, so we're going to we need another version of this, so we're going to duplicate this and we're going to call it stock to add. Add. Like that. And we are going to say add. Like so. That's all we're going to do for this one. Okay. And the next one we're going to do okay, joking aside, this one is a little bit more complex. Add stock on storage. We have a storage index, so we have an input. Storage index. First thing we're going to do is promote that to a local variable. We're going to call that L on index. And we're going to add storage actor data. I'm going a bit slow on this one because, like I say, this is quite a lot to this. Get last index. Promote that to a variable. Local variable. L last index. And what else do we need? We get our storage actors again. Get value by index. And we use our local current index. And we get from the top one here storage items. Items to add. Max items. Should be, max items should actually be a pure function. And you don't necessarily need to do it. You could just use the same variable. It would work either way. I don't know why I did it that way at the time. But actually, I'll show you. We could just use max items. It does the same thing. Okay. I'm just going to promote these to local variables. So L storage items. Take that. We're going to call it L items to add. Duplicate it again. L max storage items. So let's drag them in. So that one's done. L items to add. And L max storage items. Still, we won't know for this one. A bit neater. Then we have one more. We drag out of here. We get can contain, and we would say promote that to local variable, and it's L can contain. Once we've done that, we get our stock to add from here. We do a for loop. Do that one. We get our stock to can contain. So first of all, we're checking can we actually have this item. We do a find. This map key. We don't care about this one. We care about this one. So from the Boolean, we do a branch. If it can contain it, we can continue. If not, we're gonna not bother. Go on to the next item in the map. Okay, so we did one called okay, we didn't do that one. I forgot that one. Okay, so this one here, we need to add some inputs. It has amount to add or quantity to add, whatever you want. Quantity to add. It has max map, which is alpha E underscore bulk items. Map of integers. We had another one, and it's called storage map. And another one called key. The key is a single variable. So we have 4 inputs like so. Okay, so first of all, we get our, we can call it from the function, so we get our max map. We get our key. Get our storage map. So, and we get the key again. So we're doing a find. Find here as well. We're basically comparing or looking at what we have. Okay, so we subtract what we have on the storage to what we can actually hold on the storage. We then check to see if this is not equal to 0. If it's true, then it's worth carrying on. If it's not true, then forget about it. Okay. If it's true, we get the quantity to add of the local variable. Did I not make that into a local variable? No, I didn't. We can promote this to a local variable. L quantity to add. There we go. So we get our local quantity to add. Yeah, put it somewhere around here. And we say, is this greater than this amount here? If it's greater than this amount here, then we've got to split it. If it's not, then it's okay. And then we have another function. We're going to call this L amount to add, just so that they're slightly different. If it's true, we set the L amount to add. So in other words, if the quantity to add is greater than that, well, I'm just looking at what oh, that's right, yes. We're purely setting it to what we can actually add to it. So I just confused myself here for a minute. Sorry, that should go to through, like so. If it's false, let's pick a client reboot node in here. If it's false, we say, is this less than or equal to the L amount to the L quantity to add. Then if that's true, we set the amount to add So the L quantity to add, because that's fine, we've got enough space. That's correct, yeah. And then we have a return node. And return node is of qty to add of an integer. All the way down the end here. Oh. Like so, and we're going to say that's the local amount to add. Let's deal with that. And make sure that is a pure function. Okay, so back into update stock, which is what we were doing. We now drag in that function we just made. That should be on stock also. Drag that one in. We get our Lmax storage items. We get the quantity to add comes from here. We get storage items. And the key we haven't set yet, so we need to make that. So we promote this to a local variable, L key. We set that after the true here, and we use that in here. Then we promote this to a local variable, L add quantity. I know it gets a little bit complex, I do apologize. Then we get our items to add, our local items to add. We add to that like so. Our add quantity is there. The key is there. Then we get our stock to add from there. We do an add here. Add to map. Oh. Again, it's a local key. Then we get our stock to add. Here, which is the same as that one. We find the key. Like so. We say minus the add quantity, and we set this again. Okay, so that's how much we can actually add on that particular one. Okay. Now from the completed, we get our storage actors, get value by index. The index is the local current index that we set at the beginning. Let me zoom in here for you a minute. Okay. We get our L items to add. And we get our stock to add. We set that. Sorry, got it wrong. We drag out of here and we say items to add. Get our items to add on there. Do this one from the completed. Do that. Okay. It's a little bit complicated, I know. Then we get our local current index. We increment it. We check if this is less than equal to the last index. If it's true, we run this again. And true, like so. If it's false, we run set current stock levels. We get our stock to add. We clear that. We finish with it. Then we call this, so we drag this in and get call, drag the event dispatcher in. Remember, we get a binding to that. And then we return as finished. And make sure this function finishes properly. And that's all it that's all it is, that's what it is. It's quite a complex one. Okay. I believe that's all of the main functions we're going to do. I think we've gone nearly an hour. So I'm going to call it that for this one. The next one we'll be doing some UI and then adding it and getting it all to work. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You can support the channel by buying me a coffee or joining my Patreon. If you have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Always happy to help if I can. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.